Okay, sir. Thank you so much for your very thorough and wonderful presentation. You discussed in a very detail first about challenges and then future prospects for Pakistan, for China, for Central Asia, for Russia, and some of the recommendations as well. And you discussed about your MOU, which China Study Center of ComSets regarding the student exchange. So that can be helpful for our students as well, especially those who are studying in ComSets. So it was a very thorough and a long presentation in a very detail. I think our participants uh, must have enjoyed it. So it was very insightful. So thank you so much for this. Now we will be moving towards our panel discussion, as we already we have spent most of the time on this presentation. So now we will be moving towards panel discussion. So for that, I would like to just move towards Sayyid Shamsul Hassan, and who is also from ComSets. So Sayyid Shamsul Hassan, over to you so that you can continue with the panelists. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Musawir. I hope I am audible to all of you. Uh, Certainly, course correction is very important, and that was very much indicated in our previous presentation by our worthy presenter. I'll start by saying that Rome was not built in a single day. 75 years is a big time for one or two generations. But certainly for the nation building or towards the cause of nation building, 75 years is not a big time. When Pakistan came into being, it was thought by some of the Indians and Congress leaders that this nation, this country would not last for 6 months. But time has proved that we have lasted, we have survived difficult times, and now it's been 76 years and still counting. What really worries me is not that we have committed mistakes. Yes, we have committed mistakes. We are still committing mistakes, but what worries me a lot is that we are repeating the same old mistakes again and again, and that is a worrying worrying thing to me. Those of you who are familiar with the history of China, they would know that after the Communist Party of China, under the leadership of Mao Zedong, uh, uh, they got the People's Republic of China in 1949, and during the initial decades, they faced a lot of problems. Like they also committed some mistake. They experimented a lot, and those of you who are familiar with China studies would know that they had a cultural revolution led by Mao Zedong. They had a great leap forward, and that was an effort to that was an inorganic effort to catch up the pace with Western countries, which was not successful. And then China embraced that. And after the after the demise of Mao Zedong, when Deng Xiaoping took over in 1979, so they started with the reform and opening up era of China. And ever since, they didn't look back. And that is how Deng Xiaoping is now called the architect of modern China. But importantly, what I want to mention here is that China also experimented, they also made mistakes, but they learned from their mistakes. And that is something we can learn from China. So today is the session about challenges and the way forward. And just to recap what we did in last month, we talked about energy projects, we talked about infrastructure, transportation projects, we talked about special economic zones, we had a dedicated session about agricultural and mining and cultural communication under the framework of CPEC. All that is very great and satisfying to me, but CPEC is a government to government collaboration project. What should have been done, what is important is that we have to bring people into this equation, because people need to take charge and ownership of the CPEC projects. This I'm saying because of the two reasons. CPEC is great, but it's enabler, it's facilitator, it's not the everything. It's the first drop of the rain, but certainly it's not the full drizzle. It's just the beginning of the story. As I say, it's enabler and facilitator, but it's not the end of the story. This needs to be understood that CPEC can serve as a reform and opening up era for us. But what follows next is that it needs to have the same pace, continuity, and ownership of the people, and ownership by the people, and the policies need to be continued. The second reason I'm saying this, because much of the solution lies in the history of history of both the countries, and the history doesn't start it from 1947 or 1949 like much of the CPEC scholars. When they talk about BRI or they talk about the Pak-China relationship, they would start from the CPEC period. They would start from 2015, or they would start from 1947 or 49. No, much of the solution lies in the history, the ancient Silk Road. And what was common at that time? It was two-way traffic. It was interdependent relationship. It was interwoven. It was like yin and yang in the body. Those of who are familiar with Taoism, the concept originated from Taoism, the yin and yang. It's interdependent. It's two-way process. It's not a one-way process. So now what happened, fast forward after 3,000 years, now we are having this contemporary era of Pakistan and China. What happened? Now we are having China-Pakistan economic corridor. Yes, that's great, but it's a state-driven enabler and facilitator. But we have to establish more interdependent and two-way traffic between both countries, which was once the hallmark of China and Pakistan, which was once the hallmark of ancient Silk Road. So for that, China has already extended their hand, their supporting hand. They have started with this CPEC project, but Pakistan need to elevate its status, be it trade with China, be it tourism opportunities. If we have to invite people from China, we have to create the enabling environment, or be it the more reasons for cultural connectivity. So we have to play our part as well. So this will make this relationship more interdependent, harmonious, people-centric, sustainable, inclusive, and organic in nature. So I'll be brief here. I'll stop here and I'll give the floor now to our next speaker, Usman Zulfikar Ali.
Thank you so much, Sayed Shams. I think it's the last session we are here for the past month, and we used to discuss about the CPEC, its energy projects, its infrastructure, and different things. And it was also, thank you so much, Dr. Tahir Mumtaz. It was also a wonderful presentation, and you have covered everything. Everything which we are discussing over there over the month, and we have thought to discuss today as well. As far as the China-Pakistan relations are concerned, and the CPEC is also part of Pakistan's bilateral relations with China, which are not of today, but are extended over the decades. So Pakistan and China, we have listened these kind of phrases. Obviously, Dr. Saab also mentioned sweeter than honey and deeper than sea. These one of our former prime minister also mentioned these. So it's really an interesting and fascinating friendship with China when it comes to the relations with it. So it's also the part of our regional integration that we have to, and every state who wants to prosper and in this global as world also manage its relations with its neighbors. So Pakistan is also trying to do, but Pakistan also has to do something more in it when it comes to other regional countries, including India, including Afghanistan, which used to be our which is always discussed in the policy making as the fifth province of Pakistan, but in these days it is also giving us the hard time. So I thought to mention Afghanistan just for the reason because it has some impacts on CPEC. Obviously, in summers we had received the Afghan foreign minister in Pakistan, and we heard that the Pakistan and China both had decided to extend the CPEC to Afghanistan just for the sake to extend the regional connectivity. Dr. mentioned about the connection with Kazakhstan, connection with Central Asian states. Definitely, it is a wonderful thought to extend CPEC and Belt and Road Initiative to the Central Asian state from this route as well. But unfortunately, the current security situation in Pakistan and the resurgence of terrorism is also posing some challenges. So this is also being seen as the challenge rising for CPEC and the Belt and Road Initiative. Some of the other challenges, one of them I would like to mention is the political instability in Pakistan. No state would ever want to invest in the country which is not stable politically. In the last 5 years, we have seen 3 governments, it's a fun fact though, but the strongest among them is the caretaker government of now, which is though not supported by the people's voice, but yes, they are the most strongest among the 2 before. I really think that, but the point over here is that China wouldn't. Obviously, no other state would want to negotiate or discuss things with the caretaker governments, as they are on temporary basis and they're not living here for the long time. So Pakistan need to put its own house in order. Pakistan should take the lead. Once I remember, the Pakistan's former ambassador to China, Ambassador Nagmana Hashmi, noted that when she was serving in China, the president told the Chinese investors to go to relocate their industries to Pakistan, but Pakistan couldn't capitalize on that much opportunity. So Pakistan need to put its own house in order. Pakistan need to refocus and try to reconnect this relationship with China and this foreign policy initiative as not part of our political consideration. So Pakistan's political consideration, the foreign policy should have been disintegrated and should have been separated. Another thing is the challenge CPEC is facing, or when we talk about the relations with China under CPEC, is the local communities and the royalties issues. There are much of the voice rising from the Gawadar, including the fisherers. Those were used to earn their living cost from Gawadar, are now being helpless and jobless. So these kind of issues, even there can be realities, there can be narrative on it, there can be say on it from the government side and from those living in Gawadar. It is certainly been dealt with the greater support of the state, and negotiate with them rather than giving other countries who are not in favor of you, and they will definitely take the opportunity to get into the wrong direction. So these kind of challenges should have been dealt very strongly. Lastly, I would comment on I would like to mention here is the changing world order, the changing situation in the world order. China definitely is a part of the global multipolarity campaign that has been running, and obviously there are the signs that the world order is changing. America is reducing its influence, is feeling that it has reduced. Just days ago, one of its articles, Fareed Zakaria in Foreign Affairs mentioned that America is under a fear that it is declining. So it is becoming a reality that the world order is changing. So in that sense, we say there have been choices, and this is not the first time in the history of Pakistan over 70 years. This has been the second or third time when Pakistan has to choose among 2 or 3. So it's not been clearly said right now, but definitely behind the doors there have been campaigns and there have been askings that you have to mention from which side you are. So in that sense, Pakistan should need to balance to protect its interests, whether it is CPEC or relations with other regional countries. With that, I would like to stop here, so answer any question if there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Usman Zulfikar Ali, for your thorough remarks. You talked about the political stability. Yes, indeed, it's very important for continuity of policies. You also mentioned about technology transfer initiatives, and for that security of our country, security concerns are also important to Chinese people, to Chinese companies. And you mentioned about putting our own house in order. That is also very important. And you mentioned about changing world order. Yes, that is, we are embracing the multilateral world order. I remember one conversation last month by Institute of Strategic Studies in Islamabad, and there was a Chinese speaker from Fudan University, and he mentioned that Pakistan is a very lucky country because just as China is trying to reach out to Pakistan, America is also trying to reach out to Pakistan. And we don't mind that if America is reaching out to Pakistan, and for sure, America won't mind that China is reaching out to Pakistan. So if both the powers, one the superpower and the second emerging superpower, China, they're reaching out to us, that makes us lucky. So we have to, at times, think about our opportunities and how we can tap those opportunities from both the world powers. Since today is the last program of this session, and we are talking more about the way forward and the challenges. So allow me to talk about the CPEC projects. They are certainly giving impetus to our growth and development, but much of the work still has to be done by ourselves, as we need to do structural reforms, just as China did in 70s and 80s, and then later on they're still doing bringing those innovative ideas. And we need to do land and agriculture reforms as well. And even allow me to say that we need to do judicial reforms. So that is all very important. So without doing homework, as you mentioned, we have to put our own house in order. The classwork would just be a futile thing. So now I can see Zamir Asadi Saab anxiously waiting. Without further ado, I would give the floor to Zamir Asadi Saab. Here you go, sir.
Thank you very much, first of all, to one and only Youth Diplomacy Forum, Musawwar Saab, for arranging this very beautiful session that have really given us an opportunity to share our ideas that we have learned in recent months. And it was good to interact with the students, good to hear our learned speakers. And today, really, it was really great to listen Dr. Tahir Mumtaz Saab from China. He is there, one of the very great program that has a very huge potential, and we expect Dr. Saab will be sharing his most recent learnings with us in the near future as well on different platforms. Thank you, Dr. Saab, for having for joining us and for a very comprehensive presentation. So being a journalist, I would like to share some of my ideas today at the last session about the business prospects, challenges, and the issues that and the CPEC and the things that Pakistan is facing. First of all, everyone is talking about in this last session that yes, definitely, it is the need of the time that we as a Pakistan, we as a nation, our government, our bureaucracy, all the stakeholders that are responsible for running the system of this, the government for running the system of the country, must rethink whether after the 75 years of our independence, are we on a right track for gaining the development and for gaining the prosperity for our people, that our people are, looking forward, because our people are, putting all of their best efforts. The people are doing their great job individually in various sectors for the development of the various sectors, for the betterment of the various sectors. But need of the time is that what our government is adopting or making the policies, or exploring the opportunities or the avenues to develop the various sectors in Pakistan, for so that we can compete the international community. Either it is about the science and technology, either it is about the big data, either it is about the artificial intelligence, space technology, infrastructural development, job opportunities for our youth. So for all of these avenues to explore, definitely we need a big support from our friendly countries, because in the last 75 years, although we have gained a lot of achievements in various sectors, as you talk about the nuclear sciences, medical sciences, education sector, but definitely our infrastructure or our departments and our sectors are not built up on those lines, or those according to those modern standards that the international community, and the international countries that are now dominating the international and global landscape have gained. So I think if in the form of Belt and Road Initiative and GDI and the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, one of our very great friend, without any selfishness, is providing us the support for the development of various sectors, we should reassemble our energies. We should reassemble our all of our you can say the potential that we have, so that we can develop our Pakistan, and we can provide the better opportunities for the people of Pakistan in the coming years. Because now in our South Asia there is a race, there is a competition, that where the Pakistan and India will be standing at their 100th anniversary. So there's only 4 or 25 years left. So we should have to realize, we should have to accept where the Indian economy and the development of Indian nuclear sciences, space sciences, and other sectors are right now, and where we are. Have we ever tried to reach to the space? I don't know whether it was a fake news or a good news, whatever you can say, that their Chandrayaan have left for the moon, the dark side of the moon. So either I don't know whether it is correct or not, but we should, either we have even tried to develop such kind of a technology that our you can say the things can go also go and explore to the moon. So I think we are running towards the 100th anniversary of Pakistan, and we should have to utilize and you can say exploit all the potentials of our relationship with our friendly countries. And I think China, from the last 75 years, but since their independence since the establishment of the new China in 1949, is always very kind to us, is offering us in the first years. Pakistan has offered a lot to China for the development of their financial sectors, for the development of their foreign relations. And Pakistan have helped China in various sectors. So no, China is helping. So I think we should be you can say the speed up. We should speed up to catch the speed of the Chinese development, and I think it will just be in favor of our country. That we should see that how in the last 40 years after the reforms and opening up, China have evolved, how they have emerged as the second largest economy of the world, and now they are the largest importers and exporters. You talk about anything, you talk about any sector of China, they have developed, and there is no match to it. So I think we are very lucky that we are located in the neighbor of China. We are brotherly, we are a good friend of China. But I think we as far as our trade is concerned and our learnings from China are concerned, we all know that from following our bureaucratic issues are very slow. So we wish that we could grab much assistance and support from China, and we could establish our own departments, our own sectors, and we can compete the needs of the time in the coming years. One of the delegation is also coming to Pakistan in the next week. It's about the economic and the media delegation, and they are also trying to explore the various business opportunities. They want to invest in Pakistan, and the guys who are working on China with us in this session, we all know that how Chinese want to help Pakistan. So I think there is a huge potential of business. The need of the time is that Pakistani and business entities can develop their products as per the quality and standards of Chinese market. It's a huge import market in the world. So if we can develop our standard products, I think we can earn billions and billions of dollars by only having our good exports to China. And yes, this is the need of the time. What I always talk about anywhere we sit over with Chinese fellows or in any session, that our Pakistani business, we always talk about the trade deficit or fiscal or financial deficits. It's not these fiscal or the financial deficits. It's not the problem of China. It's the problem of our mentality. It's the problem of our products, that we are not able to produce the products that are passing the criteria of the Chinese market. So I think we should come out of this mentality that we are lacking, we are having the financial deficits with China, trade deficits with China. These trade deficits will definitely overcome when we will be able to develop the products as per the import standards of China. And this is my last intake. I wish best of luck to Pakistan, for Pakistani business sectors, business entities, and to other sectors as well. We all want to see a developed and a prosperous Pakistan in the coming years that can compete at the international arena with dignity, with respect, with morality, with ethics. And I wish best of luck to the Youth Diplomacy Forum, the Musawwar Sahab, and all of their teams who are working. This is not an easy job to even organize the online sessions, to invite the learned scholars. We listened, we heard in this internship program. And thank you very much for inviting us and giving us the opportunities to share our ideas. Thank you very much.